today. So that we will discuss. Apart from that, we are going to discuss logistic performance index and various other news. Whatever we are covering in current affair news, I am trying to take all the subject together. It's not like that I am taking just one subject. There may be various other news like recently you might have heard about judiciary rift, like Kolkata High Court judgment and the Supreme Court judgment on that. So many other news. For that you have to read newspaper. What I am trying to bring that few news from all subjects, so that every subject can be covered. Because if you see that it is the news of polity, the first news if you look into it belongs to polity. Similarly, other news, some other from the geography part and some from the economics area. So my aim is to cover at least two news from each of the major papers, like polity, history, geography, and economics, so that it's a broad and can be in accordance with, you can say, that UPSC. So that is the aim that I am going to cover. Like previous session, this session will also be having two parts. In first part, we are going to cover the important current affair news, and in the second part, what we are going to do, we are going to discuss some of the MCQ of previous year, so that it will be helping you in completing that MCQ also. And you can equip with the UPSC, that how UPSC is asking MCQ question and on which subject or on which topic MCQ can be asked. So that we will do. So let us start one by one. First and foremost, you might be, if you are reading polity or if you are a student of polity, you might be aware of Keswanand Bharati. So many of you have heard about Keswanand Bharati, might be first time seeing his picture, how means looking. So you can see the historical judgment which is behind this historical judgment and doctrine of basic structure. Some of you might have learned this in polity. For those who have not learned, I'll explain you what is doctrine of basic structure. So first of all, this Keswanand Bharati case is responsible, or you can say Keswanand Bharati case is only case that gives a historical verdict of doctrine of basic structure, and which changes complete scenario of Indian judiciary, you can say, or even the relationship between executive and judiciary. Okay, so what was happening? Our constitution maker had given us an excellent constitution, but that constitution was not in accordance. You can say that there needs some improvement in that. So there are, you can say that judiciary and executive both were fighting that who have more right to amend the constitution. You can say that parliament was saying that parliament has an absolute right to amend the constitution, but initially judiciary are saying that parliament cannot amend fundamental right. So what this verdict is all about, that I am going to explain you from the basic. First of all, what this case is all about. This Keswanand Bharati, he was, you can say, seed of a mutt. There is a mutt in Kerala. You know that there are various gurus and seed in India. So means he belongs to a mutt, and that mutt is in Kerala, you can say. And in 1970, a bill passed by Kerala government, you can say, and that bill was related to, that legislation was related to amendment in the religious practice. You might be aware of fundamental right. Those who have read already polity, in fundamental right, there is article 25 to 28. And article 26 say that everyone can practice his religion, and the religious authority have right over his practices and means management of that religious places. But Kerala government tried to regulate that management authority. So as management authorities of that mutt was going to the Kerala government, सिंपल सी बात इसमें समझ में आती है कि जो मठ था उसका मैनेजमेंट का जो राइट होता है वो मठ के मठाधीश के पास होता है. मठ मतलब एक रिलीजियस प्लेस है यहाँ पे. But as soon as that legislation was there by Kerala government, and Kerala government was trying to snatch that right and trying to take that right under the state supervision, this person approached Supreme Court and said that it is in violation of fundamental rights. So Keswanand Bharati approached Supreme Court against Kerala government, So we generally see this case as Keshwanand Bharti versus Kerala government versus other. So this was the case all about. So K means simple. If you try to learn the first point, I have said that in 1970 there was a legislation which has been brought by Kerala government, which was in violations of, you can say, which was in violations of fundamental right, that is right of religious pride, that is article 25 to 28. So this was my second point. So this person approached Supreme Court. Okay, now this was the case related issues, but there was various other things which was going in backend in the sense other cases was also there, where you can say that government and judiciary was were head to head. What are those cases? Okay, first of all we had to learn some of the basic article. In constitution there is article 30, that is, it states that fundamental right cannot be amended. Okay, so it says that fundamental right cannot be amended. But there is also article 368, which said that parliament has right to amend any part of the constitution. So these two articles were head to head. Now who should be supreme? Either article 13 or article 368. अगर मैं साधारण सी भाषा में बताऊं तो आर्टिकल 13 कह रहा है कि parliament cannot amend fundamental right, whereas article 368 states that parliament has right to amend any part of the constitution. So when someone approach judiciary says that parliament cannot amend fundamental right according to article 30, but executive say that I have right of article 368, that is parliament can amend any part of the constitution. So you can say legislation and judiciary, these two were in head to head. Now what happened? There were several other cases also. Before this Keshwanand Bharti cases, there were cases of Sankari Prasad. In polity, you might have learned that case. Sankari Prasad case. If someone has not learned that, you can note it down. Sankari Prasad case. A similar case where there was a violation of fundamental right. In means there was some rules or legislation was made, and that was in violation of fundamental right. So in that case also, Supreme Court in the first verdict said that article 368 is supreme. So Supreme Court was also more or less confused about this. Sometimes Supreme Court say that article 368 is supreme. Sometimes Supreme Court himself say that article 13 is supreme. So in first case, Sankari Prasad case in 1951, when Supreme Court, when legislation was made against fundamental right and someone, Sankari Prasad, approached Supreme Court said that the legislation is right because article 368 is supreme in front of article 13. So this was a first case. Similarly, there was again another case of Golaknath, a Punjab government case, Golaknath case, another case. And this case was in 1967. And this time Supreme Court changed its verdict. What Supreme Court says that? Supreme Court said that parliament cannot amend fundamental right. So from Sankari Prasad to Golaknath, views of Supreme Court changes. In Sankari Prasad, Supreme Court says that since article 368 states that parliament has absolute right to amend any part of the constitution, so article 368 is supreme. Article 13 do not stand in front of article 368. That was the verdict in case of Sankari Prasad case. But in Golaknath case, what was stated by same Supreme Court that parliament cannot amend, you can say cannot amend fundamental right. So it was something you can say opposite, verdict was completely opposite. Then again there was a case, that is Sajjan Singh case. There was one more case, Sajjan Singh. In this case also, Supreme Court somewhat repeated the same judgment that the fundamental right cannot be amended so that it affects the federal structure. More or less, Supreme Court was saying that fundamental right cannot be amended. So here it is clear from, I hope you might have understood that Supreme Court was saying that from last two cases, you can say Golaknath or Sajjan Singh, that fundamental right is supreme and it cannot be amended. That means article 13 is more powerful than article 368. So this was a verdict of Supreme Court. Now coming back to our story of Keshwanand Bharti. When all these were going on, at the same time, there was a case of Keshwanand Bharti which reached to Supreme Court. And it was a 13 judge bench, you can say. There was a 13 judge bench it was. that Keshavanand Bharti case, and you will be, you can just surprised to know that it was a verdict of 7-6. That means 7 was in favor of doctrine of basic structure, whereas 6 is opposed. Rare, such verdict is rare. You can say that majority of judge favor verdict or majority of judge is against that verdict. But in this case, you can say almost equal, 7:6. That's why there are always odd number judges, because it should not all equal. Otherwise, that would be referred to another judgment. Okay, so 13 judgment and the verdict was delivered by 7-6 ratio. That means 7 judges said that we should follow doctrine of basic structure. I will be coming to that, what is doctrine of basic structure. So it was all about Keshavanand Bharti case. So till now what we have understood, just to summarize that, we have understood that in case that there is a conflict between legislation and judiciary. According to legislature, Parliament has right to amend any part of the constitution. This was the first point. Whereas judiciary was saying that you can amend any part of the constitution, but that should not violate fundamental right. That means Article 13 is supreme. So this was a judiciary saying. Although in judiciary, in first cases, that is Shankari Prasad case, judiciary himself said that Article 368 supreme, but that view changes as you can say year proceed. So now when Keshavanand Bharti case was there, and it was against the Kerala government, that is 7-6, that 1917 story, which I have already explained you. There are the, you can say, doctrine that will evolved by Supreme Court. Supreme Court say, fine, you want to amend any part of the constitution, amend it, you can. Supreme Court said that Article 368, right of, you can say, that is Parliament right to amend any past constitution, is really supreme, and Parliament can amend any part of the constitution. But it should not violate basic structure of the constitution. So now legislation and executive wanted to know what is basic structure of the constitution. Judiciary said, come to us, I'll tell you on case to case basis that what is basic structure of the constitution. अगर हम इसको साधारण सी भाषा में समझे तो एक लड़ाई चल रही थी किसके बीच में, न्यायपालिका यानी कि जजेज जुडिशियरी के बीच में और एग्जीक्यूटिव एंड लेजिस्लेटिव के बीच में, where legislative tried to prove that they are supreme and they can amend any part, and judiciary is trying to prove that they cannot amend the basic structure. Now, since they are they have not means explained that what are the basic structure. If they would have explained what are the basic structure, then that would be more clear. But they have not explained the basic structure. They said that we will say you on case to case basis, you can amend. When case will come to us, we will see that you have violated basic structure or not. If you have violated basic structure, that will be unconstitutional. And from time to time, in various cases, Supreme Court has said that these are the basic structure, these are not basic structure, these are things that can be amended, these are the things that cannot be amended. So ball is finally in Supreme Court. So Parliament can amend. What finally we learned? Parliament can amend anything, but that should not violate basic structure. So now the fight between Article 13 and Article 368 is over, and it comes to the basic structure. So that was a historical judgment of, you can say, Keshavanand Bharti case. So what this judgment, if we say that, if we conclude, we want to conclude this judgment has done two things. First, reinforce the supremacy of constitution. Okay, so constitution is the supreme. So you cannot, whether it is Article 13 or whether it is Article 368, that does not matter. But constitution is supreme. So reinforce the supremacy of constitution. So what this judgment conclude? Supremacy of constitution. That constitution is supreme. The first point we can conclude from this judgment. Yes, you can amend. Parliament has a power to amend, but that should not violate the basic structure. Second, strengthen the democracy setup. In democracy setup, legislative cannot be alone powerful. It has some, because in Indian democracy, there is a process of check and balance, where each organization, each of the three organizations, that is judiciary, executive, and legislative, check and balance each other. No one is supreme. We cannot say these are the powerful, these are not powerful. So these two things, reinforce the supremacy of the constitution and strengthen the democracy. So this was historical judgment of Keshavanand Bharti case. Why we are reading it today, or we are reading in current affair? Because it had completed is 56, you can say 50 years, because it the verdict was in 1973 and today is 2023, and the same 24th April this was verdict was there. So that we are reading this verdict complete in detail. So this was a case. Okay. And one more thing which I have not discussed, I'll again repeat, because when you are reading in polity, you have to remember all these three things. First is Article 13. What Article 13 say that? Article 13 say that fundamental right cannot be amended. Okay. Next, Article 368. Now, Article 360 said that Parliament is absolute. It can amend anything, any part of the constitution. Now, since Article 36 and 38, the what was war was going between the article, how it was solved. So there was an amendment in the constitution, and that is 24th and 25th amendment, which was done by then Prime Minister Indira Gandhi. So 24th and 25th amendment. What was this amendment? 24th amendment says that you can say that Article 368 is exception to Article 13. So there was an amendment made, and where it is written that Article 368 is exception to Article 13. That means when Article 368 is invoked, Article 13 is exception. That Article 13 is not taken care. So this was the amendment of 24th amendment, and so this whole, you can say, a point is sorted out. And in 25th amendment, there is a point added, that is Article 30. You can say in Article 31, there are point added, Article 31C, and DPSP and fundamental right. This you will read in detail in polity. There was a war also going on between DPSP and fundamental right. Who is supreme? Whether DPSP is more bigger or fundamental right. So these both made subordinate by making Article 25th amendment, by making 25th amendment. So these are all about, or you can say this is the all about, you can say Kesban and Bharti case. A very important question can be asked in pre as well as in main. Since we are celebrating 50th year of this historical judgment, so this was in front of you. You can read all these, whatever I have explained you can read all this through this document. I have make it clear on this document. Okay. Moving to our next topic, that is gig economy. And what is this all about? Some of you might be have heard कि आजकल जो employment का तरीका है, even government employment, that is changing. How it is changing? Now even government is hiring more and more labor on contract basis. Earlier what government was hiring? Government was hiring a full time. गवर्नमेंट की जब एम्प्लॉयमेंट होती थी क्या होती थी? फुल टाइम होती थी. हम कहते थे ना हम सरकारी जॉब में है. तो सबसे बड़ी बात हम क्या करते थे सरकारी जॉब में? जॉब सिक्योरिटी है. बट नाउ मोर एंड मोर गवर्नमेंट इज इंक्लाइन टू कंट्रेक्चुअल लेबर. कंट्रैक्ट बेस्ड लेबर पे इंक्लाइंड होता है, एंड दैट कंट्रैक्ट बेस्ड लेबर इज कॉल्ड गिग इकोनॉमी. So recently, why it is in news? Because Rajasthan government has announced a gig registration bill 2023. So that's why it is in news. A simple term can be asked in prelims as well as in mains. What is gig economy? Whether it is useful for Indian market or not, that can be asked to you. Simply, if we want to define this gig economy, it is a short-term economy. You can say short-term contract, freelance work, which generally private company do, freelance work you can say, and temporary position. It is not a private permanent job, it's a temporary position. I hope all of you have read NCERT and all. There you might have heard about organized sector, unorganized sector, private sector, government sector, and we generally used to write the difference between these all. Okay, so there we generally say that in private sector we do not have job security, but in government sector we have job security. Government sector is permanent job, whereas private sector is you can say temporary job. We generally say such things at in our time, but now this all changes as even government sector is recruiting more and more, you can say, temporary purpose worker. So that's what you can say. The gig economy is a labor market characterized by prevalence of the short-term contract, freelance work, and temporary positions. This gig economy, individuals are paid for completing a specific project. So that means he is not hired for complete, you can say like 25 years or something like that, or till retirement. He hired for a project and he is paid project by. Simple. Example of economy jobs include ride hailing, drivers, food delivery couriers, freelance writers, and all these. And these are the things which government also needed. Okay. What we need to do. Okay, since government is doing and they are doing it for the welfare of the economy, because if you hire a worker for full time, and this becomes a liability for the government. But what government can do to make their life better? If you are hiring someone for temporary job, there must be a welfare board for them. Okay, where their grievance and policy, because since they are hired for temporary based job, so it is more likely that they are not being paid. क्योंकि क्या होगा, ठेकेदार उसको खटा देगा, ठेकेदार फिर पैसा नहीं दे रहा है, ठेकेदार गवर्नमेंट से पैसा ले लिया. So such thing happen. You might be aware of all this. So it is nothing new. So there should be a welfare board. If Rajasthan government is bringing a bill regarding this, then there must have a welfare board in that. The board is expected to work towards social welfare, and you can say financed by digital transactions made by consumer on the platform that utilize the gig worker labor. So there should be a welfare team for them, so that even if they are hired for part time, their welfare can be taken care. So this was all about gig economy. Okay, moving to our next topic, that is National Panchayati Raj Day. Okay, see, you might be aware, or you might be in polity heard about two terms, that is centralized and decentralized. These are two very famous terms which we generally read in polity: centralized and decentralized. Okay, if you are watching on the screen, there is a very famous statement of Mahatma Gandhi is written here: Panchayati Raj seen as a good governance at the village level that can help in delivering any developing any village. Mahatma Gandhi. इवन महात्मा गांधी का एक स्टेटमेंट और था कि जो भारत की असली आत्मा है वो गांवों में बसती है. ठीक है. सो एक्चुअली व्हाट वाज हैपनिंग व्हेन इंडिया गॉट इंडिपेंडेंस इन 1947, वी वर्क इन अ सेंट्रलाइज्ड प्रोसेस where everything was centralized. Okay, even leadership was centralized. All the decisions was taken in upper leadership, and that was transferred to the all the state and all, because every state have Congress government. So this was an easy process. Okay. Slowly things start changing. When we start developing, several things start changing, and we start moving toward decentralization. In 1991, if you remember, there was a very famous decision which was taken at economic level, that is liberalization, privatization, and globalization. This was, you can say, decentralization of economy. Earlier, complete economy in control of government, but this liberalization, privatization, LPG, and globalization, these three terms change the scenario of economics. The economic which was centralized now become decentralized. Similarly, even in case of politics, there was one party control. It started a coalition government where 2-3 party coming together and forming a government, or you can say even an alliance. Anyone here can tell me the difference between coalition and alliance? Alliance is a pre-poll agreement and coalition is post-poll agreement. Okay. So there is a coalition government and alliance, so polity also changes. Similarly, there was a step that was taken, and that was the, you can say, decentralization step, a big step, that is establishment of Panchayati Raj. And this was done on 24th April 1993. So that's why in this week we are celebrating at Panchayati Raj Divas, that is on 24th April, and that's why we are reading it. So it was a simple scenario, centralized to decentralized. Now question arises whether Panchayati Raj system was not there from the starting, because if we read BPSP, it was in Gandhian philosophy that Panchayat Raj system should be there. Yeah, it was there. Even the first state who held a Panchayati election was Rajasthan, in that is village Nagaur in 1957. But that Panchayati Raj system was not organized. You can say it was not constitutionalized, not organized. उसको संवैधानिक दर्जा नहीं दिया गया था. कहने का मतलब ये होता है, there was not a structure of Panchayati Raj system in 1950, or you can say 1970 or 80. Panchayati Raj system got its constitutional value in 1993. That is by 73rd and 74th amendment. By 73rd amendment, Panchayati Raj system was established, and by 74th amendment, municipality, that is in urban areas, it was established. So we can say that Panchayati Raj system was a step towards decentralization, where power was decentralized into the village area, where the real people, or you can say that last mile powers delivery, you can say like that. So this was a step of decentralization, and National Panchayati Raj Day was is celebrated every year on 24th April. So that's why it is in news, because you can say Pradhan Mantri Modi has delivered a very good lectures on this day to just 3-4 day back. So that's why we are reading. There are various committees that was set up to improve Panchayati Raj, that you will read in detail. Polity, that is Balwant Rai Committee, Ashok Mehta Committee. About all these and their finding, that you will read in your subject, that I am not discussing in current affair. Even there was a Thungan Committee, Godgill. So these are the some committee which was established to, you can say, improve Panchayati Raj system in India. Even if we talk about Prime Minister, then Prime Minister P.B. Narasimha Rao, it was in period of P.B. Narasimha Rao, then Panchayati Raj system was you can say established. That is, Prime Minister was P.B. Narasimha Rao. Sometimes this question is asked, under whose leadership Panchayati Raj system was constitutionalized. It is under the leadership of P.B. Narasimha Rao. So P.B. Narasimha Rao, under the leadership of P.B. Narasimha Rao, this Panchayati Raj system was established. Now, since I have said that Panchayati Raj system was earlier also there, so what changes? What changes in 1993? Okay, so I am going to explain 4-5 points that you can note it down, or you can later note it down from this PDF. Okay, so first, regular election. पंचायत राज तो पहले भी था, लेकिन रेगुलर इलेक्शन नहीं होता था. रेगुलर इलेक्शन कब होने लगा? 1993 के बाद, जब इसको कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल दर्जा मिल गया. ओके, सो रेगुलर इलेक्शन, दैट इज इलेक्शन एट एवरी 5 ईयर. सेकेंड, स्टेट इलेक्शन कमीशन सेटअप किया गया. पहले स्टेट इलेक्शन कमीशन नहीं था, तो जब मन तब इलेक्शन हुआ. स्टेट इलेक्शन कमीशन सेटअप किया गया, जो कि म्युनिसिपल और पंचायती राज का इलेक्शन कराएगा. थर्ड, 33% रिजर्वेशन फॉर वुमेन. This was a long pending demand that women should get same reservation at, you can say, legislative level, that is MLA and MP level also. That is विधायक और सांसद को भी मिलना चाहिए 33%. अभी there is no such reservation for women at MLA and MP level. So it is just at, you can say, Panchayati Raj level. Then you can say source of revenue. Schedule was added, 11th and 12th schedule was added, and there was some subject given to Panchayati Raj by taking from the state. So from state subject, there was some subject designated to the Panchayati Raj system. So this changes. So this was all about constitutional amendment which happened on 24th April 1993 under the leadership of P.B. Narasimha Rao, and since that day we celebrate this day as a Panchayati Raj system. Remember, every year there is at least 2 questions from decentralized. They can ask any type of question about Panchayati Raj system. There is a very famous movie, that is Panchayat. Recently, you can say that part 2 that has been released of that same movie, and there you remember a term Pradhan Pati. Okay, where there is a lady and she was chosen as a sarpanch, but her husband was doing everything. ओके, तो उसका जो पति था वही सब काम करता था, जिससे वो जस्ट अ रबर स्टाम्प. एंड देयर आर कई सारे ऐसे सिनारियोज हैं हमारे यहाँ, जो कि लेडी जो है वो सिर्फ, क्योंकि वो लेडी 33% रिजर्वेशन है वुमेन के लिए, सो दैट लेडी गॉट इलेक्टेड, और लेडी को चुना जाता है, बट द फंक्शंस इज डन बाय द मेल मेंबर ऑफ द फैमिली. सो दिस इज अ रियली अ सैड स्टेट. सो सच टाइप ऑफ क्वेश्चन कैन बी आस्क्ड इन द मेन, whether it how it can be improved, what are the steps that can be taken to improve Panchayati Raj system. Literacy, even in some states there is a system that if you are 12th pass, then only you can stand in the Panchayati Raj election. So that should be there. In you can say higher level, do you have a secretary and all. When you become minister, you have secretary, so they are literate. So they will be helping you in the all day-to-day activity. But at Panchayati Raj, if you are literate, you can better work for your villages. Okay. So the prime aim of Panchayati Raj was to give the power, or you can say grassroots democracy. पंचायती राज को हम ग्रासरूट डेमोक्रेसी बोलते हैं, बट ये सही सेंस में नहीं हुआ है. लॉट ऑफ लूप होल्स आर देयर. पंचायती राज सिस्टम स्टिल डिपेंडेंट ऑन center and state government for its revenue, although we have given them some of the powers from the state subject, but since it is also, suppose we have given them powers over you can say bijli, electricity, but that electricity also a state subject, and a state also want to means work on that electricity and all. So hardly anything that panchayat can earn from electricity department. So such scenarios make, you can say, Panchayati Raj system, this was a very visionary step to constitutionalize Panchayati Raj system, and it was a very good step. But if we look into all other aspects of Panchayati Raj system and ground level reality, we say that although it was constitutionalized, but what are the views and visions of Mahatma Gandhi or other leaders regarding Panchayati Raj system, that was not fulfilled till date. We have to work a lot. We have to do a lot of you can say research on that, and how grassroots democracy can be developed in India. So that we have to do. So this was about Panchayati Raj system, and 24th April, important point is that 24th April is celebrated as Panchayati Raj system in India. Moving on to the next topic. Our next topic is Naxalite attack. Okay. Again, you can say it is a never-ending debate, or you can say a never-ending challenge for us and the security forces. We generally, from the childhood, we learn the difference between Naxalite and terrorists. In every classes, in NCRT and others, teacher used to teach us what is the difference between Naxalite and terrorist. What they say that Naxalite is our own people. ये हमारे खुद के लोग हैं. Our own people, बस थोड़े बहक गए हैं. So this was a statement of our teachers, जो कि हमें आज से 15 साल पहले भी यही पढ़ाते थे कि our own people है, थोड़े से बहक गए हैं, इनको मेन स्ट्रीम में लाने की जरूरत है. So today also the same thing is going on, but in process of that they are killing thousands of security forces. So we need to do something extra. If we are really in a mood to settle with them, or we are in really mood to you can say they are our own people, so we should resolve their problem, right? आपके अपने लोग हैं, नाराज हैं, कब तक उनको नाराज रखोगे? आपकी नाराजगी के चक्कर में कई सारे फोर्सेस मर रहे हैं. तो गवर्नमेंट should take a step. They should you can say make a programs, make a steps to talk to them, and at a large scale it should be done. It should not like that हाँ इस साल कोई नहीं मरा, अगले साल 36 जो है वो जो है सीआरपीएफ को उड़ा दिया गया. तो रिसेंटली देयर वाज अटैक, एंड एक आर्मी व्हीकल जो है वो एम्बुश में उड़ा दिया गया, एंड ऑलमोस्ट 30 odd forces जो है वो that have been killed in this attack. So this is a you can say one of the important topic of internal security if we talk about subject. तो internal security का एक बहुत important topic है. And the state or the district Chhattisgarh and Dantewada, these are the districts which is the more prone and more affected by this Naxalite attack. See, it is not only the means it's a fight of ideology also. Okay, since these Naxalite have, you can say that, ideology of left wing politics, and in India right now right wing politics is operating. So when right wing politics operate, they will do more hangama and all. Okay, so that they are doing. Okay, so it's a war of ideology also, and ideological war cannot be solved in one day. We have to negotiate with them. We have to sit around the table. We have to do some round table conference. Then only this can be done. If we know the basic of this Naxalite, why we call them Naxalite? Because they originated from Naxalbari village. That is a village in West Bengal. Naxalbari village, that's why they are called Naxalite and all. So Naxalbari village in West Bengal, and it originated in 1967. From then till date, we are saying there as a Naxal. It has present in Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, Rajasthan, some part of West Bengal and Odisha. So these are some of the major states where this left-wing ideology has a presence, you can say. And it is a high time that you can say the people governing this country, they should resolve this Naxalite issue. Otherwise, if they are year and years they are killing our security forces, then security forces should also take some step, because means it is a, you can say, they say that their resources has been taken by us. Okay, they say that jungles belong to them, that means forest belongs to them. So these are their statement, forest belong to them. If government is doing some of the development work, their forest is taken, their mines is taken by the government in development work, and they have been given nothing in return. उनका यही कहना है कि हमारे जंगल ले लिए, हमारे जमीन ले लिए, और हमें डेवलपमेंट में कुछ भी रिटर्न में नहीं दिया. सो दैट्स व्हाई, इसीलिए आपको इन्हीं सब एरियाज में दिखाई देता है जहां पे कि माइनिंग्स है. झारखंड में बहुत सारे माइनिंग्स है, छत्तीसगढ़ में कई सारे माइनिंग्स है, and they say that this minings, this forest belongs to us. So whatever development works government is doing, some part of that development work should be given to us, or you can say that we must be they must be given job and all. So it is government responsibility to talk to them, resolve this issue. So this was in the news, and you can say it is a everlasting news. Every week we can have this as a news. But in internal security, this Naxalite attack is a topic, or you can say that is a topic which we can read in detail. If you talk about origin, you can see that it has originated in Laksarbari in 1967. Then it has spread in India in different districts, that is Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, Odisha, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, and Bihar. In West Bengal, there was a rule of left-wing politics for many years. Right now, it is operated in Kerala also. Left-wing groups in India follow the ideology based on Maoism and seek to establish a socialist state through the armed struggle. So this was their issue. They want to establish a state through armed struggle, and armed struggle cannot be right in case of democracy. So this is a issue. So that we are discussing. Okay, so you can read enough number of news regarding this, and number of books about Naxalite and their mode of operandi, their working and all. So that you can read in detail. So this was the topic. Moving on to the next topic. Zero shadow day, a very small topic from geography. What is zero shadow day? This means sun is directly above the head and there is a no shadow formation. That is called a zero shadow day. Why we are reading it? Bangalore experienced a zero shadow day. Okay, recently, just 2 days before, there was a zero shadow day in Bangalore. There is no shadow formation. And when such thing happen, ये होता कब है zero shadow day? तो जीरो shadow day तब होता है जबकि समर सोल्स्टिस या विंटर सोल्स्टिस रहता है. ठीक है, जो जनरली जो होता है ये जून में, जो समर सोल्स्टिस होता है वो जून के समय 20th और 21st को होता है. एंड दिसंबर, ये जो है दिसंबर में और जून में, ये दो ऐसे है, 21st एंड 22nd दिसंबर. दिस इज अ विंटर सोल्स्टिस एंड समर सोल्स्टिस. तो ऐसे इस दिन में ऐसे होते हैं जब इक्वेटर डायरेक्टली अबव हेड होता है, एंड इट इज अ मीटिंग पॉइंट ऑफ ट्रॉपिक ऑफ कैप्रिकॉर्न एंड ट्रॉपिक ऑफ कैंसर. ये जो पॉइंट होता है where tropic and Cancer and tropic of Capricorn made, and at that point there is no shadow formation. That's why we call it as a zero shadow day. A very small topic, and it can be asked in prelims. What is zero shadow day and is related to it? So that you can read. Moving on to the next topic. It is about brain economy challenge. So I hope आप में से कई सारे लोगों ने जो है वो चार्ट जीपीटी यूज किया होगा. So what is brain economy challenge? Slowly, we are moving towards, you can say, brain based work. That means earlier our work was labor intensive, जाके कई सारे लोग लगते थे और काम करते थे. Now we are moving towards, you can say, brain work, where so many AI is developed, and in that case where is more intellect people is living, there this brain economic challenge is working. What are the issues with India economic system that is based on knowledge, creativity, innovations rather than traditional resource of physical labor? Okay. So earlier there was a tradition. Okay, so earlier there was which generally depend on for economy for a physical labor and all, but now our economy is based on knowledge, creativity, innovations rather than traditional resource. But there are some of the challenges which India is facing regarding this. What are the challenges? Education and skill. The first challenge, we have human resource. We have a lot of humans. Our population in previous sessions, we have discussed about that. We have crossed China in terms of population. So we have human resource, but whether their education and skills is enough so that we can count it as creative or under brain economic. Infrastructure and technology, again a challenge for India. Regulatory environment, okay, and inequality and exclusion. That is, there are a lot of inequality between poor and rich. So these are the some point which can be discussed here. That is educational and skill. These are the issue with India. When all the world is working on brain economy, in such scenario, these are 4-5 major issues which is hampering India. Since India is ample of human labor, you can say, or human capital, but whether it have a, you can say, work as a brain economy, that we have really a doubt of. So education and skill need to be improved, infrastructure need to be, you can say, step up, regulatory environment and all this, so that brain economy can be enhanced in India also, and all other countries doing. Whether all other countries working on AI, you might have used as a ChatGPT and all. There are if you read about history, in history you might have heard that there was an incident of spinning genie. When first time there was any industry was set up, that is kapde banane ka machine tha, spinning genie, and it was altogether opposed by various women and others. They said that this innovations are taking their job. So we should not think that innovations are taking our jobs. In India, we have human capital. If we turn that human capital into human resource by education, by infrastructure, by regulatory environment, by equality and all, then at that case, this brain economy can be assets for us. Otherwise, this brain economy can be liability for us, where all other countries are adopting the means of brain economy, and we are still a labor intensive country. So we have to move from labor intensive traditional labor resource to brain economy. That's what this topic is all about. Why it is in news? Because a lot of research is going on brain economy. You might have about ChatGPT. There is so many AI video transform. चार्ट जीपीटी अब ऐसा हो गया कि उस पर आप कोई कोडिंग लिखे तो आपको मिल जाता है. तो वेयर लॉट ऑफ डिस्कवरी इज गोइंग ऑन, लॉट ऑफ वर्क इज गोइंग ऑन फॉर द ब्रेन इकोनॉमी. इन दैट केस इंडिया आल्सो नीड टू बी स्टेप अप, एंड इंडिया आल्सो नीड टू वर्क in towards brain economy. In India should not work in the traditional way. Okay, what are the potential challenges? Unequal distribution of gains, with some workers and regional benefiting more than others. So these are the some challenges which we may face when we move towards brain economy. तो इंडिया को क्या क्या challenges आ सकता है, that we are reading here. Skill mismatch, स्किल है ही नहीं इंडिया में. विद सम वर्कर, कई सारे इंजीनियरिंग पूरा आप पढ़ लेते हैं, इंजीनियरिंग में कुछ और पढ़ा रहा है, और जब आप कंपनी ज्वाइन करते हैं तो वहां आपको कुछ और करना होता है. तो देयर इज कंप्लीटली स्किल mismatch. Okay, increase reliance digital technology and automations which may reduce the need for some type of labor. Okay, greater demand for continuous learning and development which may challenging for some worker. So this brain economy can be you can say that this brain economy can be two ways for us in India. It can be assets also, it can be liability also. It can be asset in the sense that it will help in developing our nation. Okay, since all other nations are using the same method for development, so India should also use the same method of development. But why it is liability? Because our human force which we have, they lack the required skill, they lack the you can say required technology, infrastructure and all. So it is high time so that government should work and move towards brain economy. So this was a topic. Moving towards the next topic, logistic performance index. Again, first time we are reading an index where India has improved its rank. Okay, अभी तक जितना भी इंडेक्स हम पढ़ते थे उसमें हमेशा जो है कहीं ना कहीं इंडिया का रैंक डाउन होता था. And in every class almost in current affair I am using to I have said you that this index based news is always important for you. Okay, UPSC every time 4 to 7 questions asked in current affair, or in case of prelims examination where that is based on directly on any type of index, and the question could be it is based on means released by which of the World Bank or Niti Aayog or something like that, or parameters of that index that can be asked. So you might have understood this topic, logistic. It all depend on mobility. You might be have seen in the news that Pradhan Mantri every week almost you can say inaugurating Vande Bharat. Okay, so Gati Shakti and all are the some of the missions by which India has improved itself in the logistic area. Okay, you can say the ranking system. India has almost improved its rank, and out of 139 country, India is ranking right now at 38th position. So out of 139 country, India ranking is, yes. Someone is trying to say something. Okay. So out of 139 country, India rank is 38, and the steps which helped in improving our rank is the step like Gati Shakti, Vande Bharat and all. So that you can read here. The LPI is a benchmark tool developed by the World Bank. So which of the which organization is releasing this tool? LPI, Logistic Performance Index, is by World Bank. So this is a very important logistic management, including customer clearance process. So what are the things? What are the parameters on which this index depends? So that is given here. Ease of arrangement of shipment, competence of logistic services, ability to track and trace consignment. It ranks countries scale of 1 to 5. So 1 से 5 के बीच में ये numbers देता है, and on basis of that rank country जो है वो rank होता है. Coming to the ranking of India, you can see that comparative analysis of 139 nations has been done, and out of this 139 nations, India is at 38. India जो है वो 38 positions पे है. According to 2023, Singapore and Finland are the most productive and top ranked LPI nations. Okay. Logistic Performance Index. If someone is asking what is LPI, it is Logistic Performance Index. If you want to understand in simple term, that means mobility. जो आप एक जगह से दूसरे जगह जाते हैं, या फिर जो लगेज या गुड्स कुछ भी इस तरह का जो जाता है, उसको जाने में कितना कम समय लगता है, कितने इंप्रूव कर रहे हैं उन चीजों पे. So that's are called the logistic. If you see what are the 6 components that is taken when logistic performance index is there, I'm just repeating it since someone asked the question. It is logistic management, that how you manage the mobility, persons or connectivity and all. Then next is including customer clearance process. जब आप कभी जाते हैं तो चेकिंग होता है एयरपोर्ट एंड ऑल, तो दैट इज अंडर इंक्लूडिंग कस्टमर क्लियरेंस प्रोसेस. इवन जब शिपमेंट भी जाता है तब भी क्लियरेंस होता है. क्वालिटी ऑफ इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर, लाइक एयरपोर्ट की क्वालिटी क्या हो रही है, रेलवे स्टेशन की क्वालिटी क्या है, शिपमेंट की क्वालिटी क्या है, ईज ऑफ अरेंजमेंट ऑफ शिपमेंट, competence of logistic service, ability to track, trace consignment, and timeliness of shipment. So these are the some points which are considered while making LPI index, and India has improved its rank. And the some of the parameters which India, why India has improved its rank, because of PM Gati Shakti Yojana, National Logistic Policy, and adoption of RFID cargo tracking. जो ये RFID टैग लगाया जाता है आजकल, आपको जो है ये सारी चीजें जो है आप जब टोल गेट पास करते हैं तब भी ये RFID टैग आपके कार वगैरह में होता है. So these are the points for LPI index. Okay. Moving to the next topic, and why we are reading this topic, a very important topic, Sanskrit as official language, Ambedkar's amendment. Okay. So you know that the Constitution of India is almost, or you can say the brainchild is Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar. So why we are reading this topic here? In this, there was an amendment. Ambedkar in the Constitution trying to make Sanskrit as an official language, but it was opposed by other members of the Constitutional Assembly. So Sanskrit do not become our official language. Why we are reading it today? Because you know that every time, every here and there was a war between South and North, where you can see so many videos viral on social media platform, where North Indian people generally say that Hindi should be our official language, whereas South Indian people say that why we should speak Hindi. Even some of the actors also in war with this. Ajay Devgan, you can say that, and other South actors are in the war with, they say that Hindi is not our Raj Bhasha or official language like that. So there is a war between this. So in that case, why we are reading it, there is a Justice G.R. Swaminathan of the Madras High Court said that R. Ambedkar wanted to make Sanskrit the official language of Indian Union. So there was a debate whether Ambedkar has said like this or not. So it is right. Ambedkar has said in the Constitutional Assembly that Sanskrit should be an official language because Sanskrit is a mother of many languages and it is very ancient language of India. So Sanskrit should be made official language of India. Although that provision has not been expected by the Constitutional Assembly, you can read it here in 1949. Dr. Ambedkar moved an amendment, draft article official language in the Constitution, and the amendment was proposed Sanskrit to be made as an official language. But since it was not established, why we are reading it? Because it's just a simple, because it can be asked in UPSC, because UPSC asks if anything related to our forefathers, our constitution maker is there, that is in the news, UPSC can ask. So there can be MCQ, which language was proposed by Ambedkar as an official language, and can be an option. So you have to choose Sanskrit in that. Okay. Here are the some of the articles which is related to languages, which I have given for your reference so that you can refer. Moving to the next topic. That is PM Care Fund. Okay. So again, this was a topic which is in news from last 2 years, or you can say 3 years. What is PM Care Fund? This was developed, you can say this was started during COVID time. Okay, there was a PM Care Fund which was opened and it has been asked the people or public to deposit money in PM Care Fund. So you know that in India, whatever thing which is public or you can say government thing, that comes under RTI ambit. Whether Right to Information Act can be invoked and that, and it is due to transparency and all. But this PM Care Fund is not under RTI. Whenever there is a RTI information is asked on PM Care Fund, if suppose कोई पूछता है कि PM Care Fund में कितना पैसा जो है लगाया गया है, कितना पैसा खर्च हुआ है, तो PM Care Fund की तरफ से ये जानकारी आपको नहीं दी जाएगी. और क्यों नहीं दी जाएगी? Because it is not under RTI. It is आपके Right to Information Act के अंदर ये नहीं आता है. So this was a debate, and why it was a debate? Every now and then opposition, or you can say Rahul Gandhi, just recently Rahul Gandhi has said that PM Care should be under RTI and there is no any reason that it should not be under RTI. What government is giving on this? Government is saying that we are doing independent audit for PM Care Fund, and since it is this PM Care Fund is not made by any constitutional amendment, ये किसी constitutional amendment के through नहीं बनाया गया है या किसी legislative act के through नहीं बनाया गया है, so it should not be bound to be under RTI. So this was the, you can say, point of government. Government is saying that since it is not a constitutional act, it is not made by any constitutional act, or neither it is a statutory, that is passed by legislation. So it is not entitled to be under RTI. So it is a point of government. But opposition and various scholars say that PM Care Fund should also be under RTI ambit, as it is not a personal money of PM. It is a money of public, and so public has every right to know that whether it is where it is spent, how much money has been collected, and all. But since you know that government is very powerful, this is a scenario always when executive and legislative is powerful, so they will try to dominate various other factors in this. So this is the case here. The PM Care Fund is a public charitable trust established by Government of India in March 2020. It provided relief measures during COVID-19. So it's just a charitable trust. Okay. It is not formed by any act or constitutional, you can say parliament, any pass any law regarding this. The purpose was simple, to help the COVID and other management or all. Okay, so it is in the news. What are the point which is given that it should be under RTI? That is, first is lack of public scrutiny. If it is under RTI, there should be a public scrutiny. No audit by CAG. CAG इसको audit नहीं कर सकता है. Government control, इस पे पूरी तरह से government का control है. And lack of reality and criticism from the opposition. So these are the 4-5 points which is related to PM Care Fund. ठीक है. Transparency नहीं है, CAG audit नहीं कर सकता and all. Okay. So generally scholars say that PM Care Fund should also brought under RTI. So it is not just only opposition is questioning. Various other scholars and constitutional experts are also saying that PM Care Fund should be under RTI. But government is hell bent to say that PM Care should be fund should not be under RTI. You can say that if it would be under RTI, CAG can audit that, and independent auditor from CAG department only can audit that. Okay, appointment independent members and all. So right now, if we want to conclude this, we can say that right now PM Care Fund is not under RTI. So if any question is asked whether PM Care Fund is under RTI or not, it is not under RTI. Okay. If a question is asked from the mains point of view, whether PM Care Fund should be pointed or kept in the RTI, there you have to write that yes, it should be, because it is a public money, and public money there should be a transparency, accountability, and audit. If in public money case there is no transparency or audit process, then that can be misutilized or can be misgoverned. I am not blaming on this government. Maybe this government is using it properly, but think of a situation. There is a corrupt government in the center, and at that time, if PM Care Fund is utilized or misutilized in that case, so that would be a really challenging for us. So it should be made under ambit of CAG, and it should be audited also. So that is a case. So these are some of the important news of previous week, which I have covered. Okay. Some of the other news also, in the beginning only I have said that various other news is also there. So that for you, that you have to read newspaper and all. I have tried to cover each subject so that at least two news from each subject can be covered. Now I am going to cover the MCQ part, that is from December month, that we are going to cover 20 MCQ just after 2 minutes. Okay, so let's start one by one. If someone want to participate and want to give an answer, that would be good. Otherwise, I would be explaining the every answer. The first question is, with reference to Directorate of Revenue Intelligence, DRI, consider the following statement. The DRI is the apex anti-smuggling agency of India. Correct. Okay. It is the agency which controls all the drug related issues which is going in, means everything and anything which is related to drugs is controlled by this organization. The DRI has also been designated as the lead agency for anti-smuggling national coordination center. Again, the second point is also right. It is the lead agency. It has every right to coordinate with all other you can say agencies of India, coordinate with various law agencies, and can take actions against the drug smuggling and all. So DRI is the supreme authority which controls the anti-smuggling activity in India. Okay. So, and it also has the power to coordinate with all law authorities. So answer should be C, that is both 1 and 2. Moving to the next question. In India, which one of the following is the nodal body coordinating with UNESCO for the matter related to intangible cultural heritage? What does intangible means? An intangible cultural heritage is a practice, representation, expression, knowledge or skill considered by UNESCO. साधारण सी भाषा में आपसे पूछा जा रहा है कि कौन सी ऐसी एजेंसी है जो आपके कल्चर को प्रोटेक्ट करने के लिए यूनेस्को के साथ टाई अप करती है और कई सारे इवेंट प्रोसेस करती है. तो कौन सी एजेंसी है, इसका नाम पूछा गया है. आर्कोलॉजिकल सर्वे ऑफ इंडिया, नो. जियोलॉजिकल सर्वे ऑफ इंडिया, नो. संगीत नाटक एकेडमी, यस. This is the organization which work on the various activities, the theater, drama and all, to protect your you can say culture and all with the in coordination with UNESCO. Okay. Moving to the next question. With reference to the formal method in the constitution to resolve interstate dispute, consider the following. So the question is asking that when there is a dispute between center and state or state and state, so you have to choose between given option. Article 263 of the Constitution gives power to President to set interstate council for resolution of dispute between state. Yes, it is the power of President. If two states is fighting, then it is power of President that it can appoint interstate council, like in case of Satluj Jal Vivad between Punjab and Haryana, or in Kaveri dispute. There is a Kaveri dispute, and there also you can say inter-dispute panel has been set up by President. Second point is, as per Article 131 of the Constitution, the Supreme Court in its original jurisdiction decide imputes between state. Yes, right. What does original jurisdiction means here? Original jurisdiction means that if any debate between state versus state, directly you can approach to Supreme Court. You need not to approach the lower court. As in case of fundamental right, you know that in case of fundamental right, you can directly approach to Supreme Court or High Court. Similarly, if there is a debate between state versus state or center versus state, so that is under the original jurisdiction of Supreme Court, and any state or center can approach to Supreme Court. Like debate, there is a any you can say fight between Kolkata and central government. So West Bengal government or central government directly approach to Supreme Court. So here also the answer would be both 1 and 2. Moving to the next question with reference to Stand Up India scheme. Okay, so it is a scheme which is related to SC, ST and marginalized women. Which of the following statements are correct? It is a purpose to promote entrepreneurship among the SC, ST and women entrepreneurs. Yes, correct. It is provided for the refinancing through SIDBI. So there is an organization SIDBI, and through this organization, they have been financed, that is loan is given at lower interest rate. So here also both 1 and 2 is correct. Moving to the next question. For those who are new and not aware of all this topic, you can just understand how UPSC is asking question. And for all those who are giving this exam in 2023 or may attempt in 2024, for them you can learn these questions because it is important question. Next question is the Asiatic cheetah is classified as a critically endangered species by IUCN. This IUCN is an organization which release ranking, that is they say that whether it is a data deficient, that is DD, data deficient, पता नहीं क्या है इस मतलब वाइल्ड लाइफ के बारे में. Then they have a critically endangered, CR, then endangered, vulnerable. So these are some of the ranking which have been given to different animals by this IUCN. Okay, so they are the classifying agency, you can say like that. So the question is asked that whether Asiatic cheetah is classified as critically endangered. The first point is this. So the first point is right. The Asiatic cheetah is classified as a critically endangered. And African cheetah are the bigger in size compared to Asiatic cheetah. Again, the second point is also right. So both 1 and 2 is the right one. Moving to the next question. The Kerch Strait. What does strait means? That is a narrow piece of sea that joins two larger sea. एक छोटा सा जगह है और अगर ये कोई दो बड़े सी है, लाइक मान लो ये इंडियन ओशियन है और ये पैसिफिक ओशियन है, तो दिस इज अ स्ट्रेट एंड दिस इज इंडियन ओशियन एंड पैसिफिक ओशियन that can be joined together. So just to make you understand, so the Kerch Strait connect the Black Sea with the Sea of Marmara. No, it is wrong. I'll explain, or I will tell you that which is right one. The next option here, next question here is the Bosphorus Strait is a strait in Eastern Europe that connects the Black Sea and the Sea of Azov. The both is neither one, neither two. Both is incorrect here. Okay. The correct would be, you can see the explanation. The Bosphorus connect the Black Sea and Sea of Marmara. So the first option is the what? The second option is the right for the first one. And the Kerch Strait is the strait of Eastern Europe. It connects the Black Sea and the Sea of Azov. So you can say that it was written in opposite manner. Moving to the next question. Which of the following statements are not true with reference to process of delimitation? Let me explain you the process of delimitation. Delimitation is a you can say set up by election commission, and it generally after every census check that population of that area and MLA and MP seats. Okay, you know that there are the MLA and MP seat, MLA seat for the state and MP seat for the center. Okay, so how many people will elect MLA? Suppose if you can say state have 2 crore population like Delhi, so how many MLA seat would be there? Like in Delhi, there are just 70 constituencies. So that these all constituencies have equal number of people. So that equal representation should be there for one MLA. Generally, we say that around 10 MLA constituency make one MP constituency. So this is how we divide MP and MLA constituency, and this is how we fix that how many MLA from one state and how many from MLA from the other state. So this is the way that how we fix the MLA and MP constituency, and it is done by a delimitation commission. So the question here asked is, the question point is, delimitation is carried out by an independent delimitation commission appointed by the Election Commission of India. Yeah, the first point is right. The draft proposed of the delimitation commissions are not for the public feedback. Okay, it is wrong. It is for the public feedback. It is either not for the public. No, it is given for the public feedback. Under the Article 82, the Parliament is to enact Delimitation Act after every census, right? in the history of the Indian Republic, Delimitation Commission have been set up 4 times. Yes, it is also right. Okay, so B is the only incorrect one. Okay, so where means in which year this set up? 1952, 1963, 1973, and 2002. So these are the year when Delimitation Commission was set up, and the role of Delimitation Commission was to delimitate the areas for MP and MLA election. Okay, moving to the next, recently seen in the news, Germanics are cryptocurrency trading platform which created an association with financial institutions such as the New York Stock Exchange, and no, it is the wrong one. Moving to the next option, if we talk about the next option is JAXA's space mission to clarify the origin and evolution of the solar system. No. Okay, actually it is a meteor shower. So what is meteor shower? Meteor shower is generally when from one point so many meteor is originated. Like this. This is called a meteor shower. You know about a meteor, smaller particles in the space. So these are called this. This is how a meteor shower looks. So many meteors originating from one position. So those germinates are the meteor shower. So such type of question is asked. They can ask one term and they will ask that what this term is related to which of the following topic. So you have to know about that term which is in the news. So this germinates is related to meteor shower. Moving to the next topic. With the reference to review petition. What is review petition? If a verdict is given by Supreme Court or any court and the same verdict is reviewed, means the same verdict either challenged by anyone or even reviewed by the authority himself. Even Supreme Court can review this verdict himself. Suppose Supreme Court has given any verdict in 2020 and in 2022 Supreme Court wants to review its verdict and want to change its judgment. So that Supreme Court can do. Okay, it is also a strength of judiciary. There is a scope of correction. Okay, अगर आप सोचो कि जुडिशरी कोई वर्डिक्ट देता और स्कोप ऑफ करेक्शन ही नहीं होता तो केशवानंद भारती केस तो होता ही नहीं. Okay, so we generally say that if there is a scope of correction that can be done through review petition. The option here is it is necessary that only parties related to case can seek review of the judgment. No, anyone can seek the review petition. Okay, suppose there is a judgment delivered by Supreme Court. If you are not the party but you are affected by that judgment, you can file a review petition in Supreme Court. Okay. The Constitution gives under Article 1 the Supreme Court power to review any of its judgment or orders. Yes, right. Review petitions are usually not heard in open court. Yes, it is generally heard in the chamber of judge. The judge who has given that verdict, in their chamber only that can be heard, the chamber of judge. Okay, so it is not heard in an open court, you can say like that. So 2 and 3 is the right one. First one is the wrong. Anyone can review the petition. Okay, moving to the next question. With reference to nuclear fusion, consider the following. It is the process of splitting of nucleus in two. Okay, it is wrong. It is the process of combining of nuclei. You might have heard this in basic science of class 10. There is a process of nuclear fusion and nuclear fission. These are the two terms you might have heard. So fusion is a process which is combining of two nuclei, and fission is a process which is splitting of isotope, you can say that. तो combining जब बात होगा तो हम बात करेंगे fusion की, और जब breaking की बात होगी तो हम fission की बात करते हैं. So here the option is it is the process of splitting. No, it is wrong. Okay, so first one is the wrong one. Fusion is a carbon-free source of energy, has negligible radiation risks. Yes, right. Fusion is the risk of place state matter called plasma. Yes, right. So second and third one is the right one, and the first one is incorrect because the definition is given for fission, not fusion. Moving to the next one. Which of the following statement is not true with respect to new pension scheme, NPS? You might have heard that now the pensions for the government employee has been, old pension schemes for the government employee has been removed, and now everyone can register themselves for new pension scheme. It is like a social security scheme of the America, where even a private or unorganized sector person can spend some of his money in the NPS system, and at the time of its old age time they can get as a pension also. So in private system also NPS can be utilized. So now government is saying that we will not give pensions to the at the time of retirement. We are means giving a NPS system, and those whatever you are depositing in NPS system, that will be given at the in terms of retirement. So there is a difference between NPS and OPS. The option here is the shift of NPS was undertaken due to concern over the coverage, sustainability, and scalability of old pension framework. Yes, it was becoming a liability for the government, old pension scheme, because huge amount of government revenue was spending over the giving pensions to its employee. So that's why government has launched a new pension scheme. Old pension scheme has been scrapped. Okay. Next option here is, if you can see, it is that the FPRD is the regulating of NPS. Yes, it is also right. It works under Ministry of Finance. मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ फाइनेंस के अंदर वर्क करता है. और ये जो पीएफ फंड आप लोगों ने सुना होगा, एफपीआरडीए जो ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है वही उसके अंदर काम करता है. मूविंग टू द नेक्स्ट, ओनली गवर्नमेंट एम्प्लॉय आर एलिजिबल फॉर अंडर एनपीएस. द क्वेश्चन हियर आस्क्ड इज नॉट ट्रू. नाउ ऑल द एम्प्लॉय हु इज वर्किंग इज eligible under NPS, so only government employee is incorrect. Even private or unorganized, all others, all our employees are entitled for NPS. The NPS proposed by the project OAS report become the basis for pension reform, so it is right. So all the others are right. Option C is incorrect. Moving to the next question. Recently in news, toolkit on enabling gender responsive urban mobility, that is जेंडर फ्रेंडली मोबिलिटी, यानी कि फीमेल के लिए जो है मोबिलिटी को जो है वो थोड़ा देखा जाए कि कैसे हर जगह जो है फीमेल का, आप इन मोबिलिटी केस भी जनरली इट इज यू सी दैट द फीमेल को जो है सिक्योरिटी नहीं मिल पाता है. In such case, you might be remember the Nirbhaya case which happened in Delhi, you can say transport, that is in a bus service. So in such case, this gender report is there and is launched by UN Women World Bank. So it was launched by World Bank. So World Bank is our organization which is looking into this aspect of gender responsive urban mobility, and even World Bank is funding various developing countries so that they can be gender friendly. That is, public transport can be gender friendly in that state or country, you can say. Moving to the next question, with reference to Sri Venkateswara temple, consider the following statement. Now, again, in previous session, I have said you that how we should know that we should read about which temple. You have to check that whether it has been visited by any of the prime minister, president, or like that. Like this temple has been visited by President Draupadi Murmu. So that's why we are discussing in the news. So this is how you filter out. It is situated in the hill town of Tirumala, Chittor. Yeah, right one. The temple follow Vaishakha Agana tradition of worship. It is a tradition of worship to worship Lord Vishnu. Okay, Vishnu भगवान को पूजने का एक तरीका है. So both one is the correct one. And this is in the news because Draupadi Murmu has visited this place. So that's why we are reading this. Moving to the next question. Question number 14 we have. A carbon credit is a kind of tradable permit that equals 1 ton of carbon dioxide removed, reduced, and from the atmosphere. Yeah, right one. Paris Agreement, you might be heard about this Paris Agreement. A lot of, I think, has been discussed about Paris Agreement. So Paris Agreement is related to Environment Agreement, and by countries fulfill their determined contribution NDC. Yes, both one is the correct. See, in environment, carbon emission, that is reducing carbon emission and reducing global warming. These are such two questions which is always in news. So anything or everything related to carbon emission and how to reduce carbon emission, you have to study that, or related to global warming. So these are the two topics which you have to read and you have to understand. If any terms is or any you can say innovation in regarding this field is there, then you have to read because it is important for UPSC automatically. Okay, moving to the next one. With reference to surety bond insurance, consider the following statement. It involves a three-party. Yes, it is right. It involves three-party agreement if we talk about. And then it will act as a security arrangement for infrastructure projects and will insulate the contract as well as the principal. Okay, the second one is also the right one. Okay, next is it's both 1 and 2. So if in simple term we want to understand surety bond insurance, you people might be aware that आजकल क्या होता है, जो रियल एस्टेट सेक्टर है उसमें आपको समय पे जो है प्रोजेक्ट डिलीवरी नहीं मिलती है. तो श्योरिटी बॉन्ड स्कीम क्या होता है, आपके बीच में, बिल्डर्स के बीच में, और यू कैन से जो इंश्योरेंस कंपनी है इनके बीच में एक एग्रीमेंट होता है, दैट इज कॉल्ड थ्री पार्टी एग्रीमेंट. प्रिंसिपल यानी आप हो गए, देन जो बिल्डर है जो कि जमीन को बना रहा है वो हो गया, एंड देन you can say the insurance company, that is we call surety bond. So if builder is not completing project on time, then surety bond will help principal to get the project on time. So either it will fund the builder or something like that. Similarly, suppose builder is making project on time, but principal, that is we, are not giving money on time. So in this case also this insurance company will give money to the builder. So they are acting and the middleman for both them, so that project can be delivered on time. And since there are a lot of fraud going on infrastructure level, in such scenario, this surety bond insurance is you can say well working well and can be useful. Okay, moving to the next question. With reference to Commission for Air Quality Management, consider the following statement. It is a statutory body. Yes, I hope you know that what is a statutory body. If it is formed by a act of parliament, not by constitutional amendment. If it is formed by constitutional amendment, we call it as a constitutional authority. If it is formed by act of parliament, then we call it as a you can say statutory body. It is headed by Prime Minister. No, it has its own chairperson. Right now Kutty is the chairperson, so only first one is the correct one. Moving to the next one. Which of the following taxes are considered to be direct tax? And you might be till the time you might be aware about what is direct tax. Direct tax क्या होता है? जो डायरेक्टली आपके इनकम पे लगाया जाता है, ठीक है. इनडायरेक्ट टैक्स क्या होता है? आपके सर्विसेज पे लगाया जाता है. जो भी सर्विसेज आप यूज करते हैं, जो भी प्रोडक्ट आप यूज करते हैं, उसके ऊपर. लाइक रोड टैक्स, दैट इज अ इनडायरेक्ट टैक्स. So here you have option personal income tax. Since it will be on your personal income, so it is a direct tax. Minimum alternate tax, no, it would not be a direct tax. Corporation tax, yes, it would be a you can say direct tax. And okay, okay, yes, and security transaction tax. So these are the options here. Okay, if we see the explanations, so we have an answer. B would be the option, that is 1 and 3. 1 and 3 would be a direct tax, and these are the indirect tax. Okay, moving to the next one. The Tal Chhappar black back sanctuary that was recently seen in the news located in which of the state? It is located in Rajasthan. A very simple question. Such type of sanctuary and wildlife question, always there would be a one question from that. And so you have to read all the wildlife sanctuary and this where it is located and all. With reference to circular trading, consider the following. So there is a question about circular trading and you have been asked to consider the following. So circular trading refers to a fraudulently availing input tax credit by trader issuing invoice without availing real goods and services. Yes, correct. Sometime कंपनियां क्या करती है, जानबूझ के अपनी खरीद बिक्री दिखाती है. वो जो होता भी नहीं है फिर भी अपना इन्फ्लेशन. लाइक we talk about Adani, and there is a just to increase its share, they have shown the wrong input in that. So inflation purpose, they show all such type of. The main objective of circulation trading is inflating turnover. तो अपनी कंपनी की जो टर्नओवर है उसको इन्फ्लेट करके दिखाने के लिए ये सर्कुलर ट्रेडिंग यूज होता है, जिसमें कि एक सामान अपने से ही दूसरे को दे दिया, फिर घूम के अपने पास आ गया. ठीक है, एक मूवी भी इस पे बना था जिसमें कि वो सामान लोन लिया था दुकान खोलने के लिए एंड ही वाज यूजिंग दैट फॉर ऑन पर्पजेज. सो सेम दिस वाज देइंग कि यहाँ से आपने निकाला, किसी अपने ए पर्सन को दे दिया, ये भी आपका ही बंदा है, फिर बी को दे दिया, ये आपका ही बंदा है, फिर ये सी को दे दिया, आपने यहाँ पे अपना सामान बिकता हुआ दिखा दिया. ठीक है, so your goods is not selling but you are showing that it is selling and you are showing your company value. Suppose if I am working in an organization, I am just falsely showing that I have taken 100 admission or 200 admission although a student has not enrolled, so that could not be there. So in this case this both is the right one. So moving the last question of the day, that is question 20th. With reference to India, consider the following statement. Judicial custody means accused in the custody of the concerned magistrate, and such accused is locked up in a police station, not in a jail. No. See, there are two types of custody. One is police custody. Whenever there is a any you can say आपके ऊपर जब भी कोई इल्जाम लगता है, any means there the police will arrest you, and for first 3-4 days they will keep you in police custody, where they will interrogate you, take you to the site of scene and all. And after that, police court will send you for the judicial custody, where you will remain in jail, and police can question you from the jail, but by the permission of the judiciary. So that the complete statement is opposite of that. Here it is written that judicial custody means the accused is in the custody of the concerned magistrate, and such accused is locked up in a police station. No, they are not locked up in a police station. They are locked up in a jail. Okay. During the judicial custody, the police officer charged of the case is not allowed to integrate. They are allowed to integrate, but they need to take the permission without the approval of court. Okay. So without approval of the court, the second one is the right one. The first one is incorrect. So there are two types of custody, that is judicial custody or police custody. In police custody, you have to be in police lockup and they will interrogate you. But in judicial custody, you have to be in jail. And if any authority, that is investigating authority, want to integrate, they had to take the permission of judiciary, and then they get integrated with you. So these are all about today's current affair. So thank you. Any questions? Anybody want to ask something? Okay, thank you.